Hello and welcome back, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more of our Arumba's Assay Golden Horde series. Okay, a couple more things to work on then. So I was looking to trade a little bit more. I think we can actually make even more money. I was looking at this merchant here in particular is, you see how it says 1.08 to Kazan? He's not doing much. He is steering some of the money the way that we want, but 1 ducat compared to 18, 19, 23, like he's like a loser. Also Malacca at 1.92, he could also be doing better. So that made me reevaluate trade. And I was thinking, normally you do want to have like a primary node that you collect in and then everyone else steering so that you can get that massive, massive bonus to trade power in the primary node. If you collect in any other nodes, you miss out on any possible transfer trade bonus. But I did some math, and I'm gonna do the math with you. So let's bust out a calculator. We're missing out right now on 13.73 ducats here. We have 65% control of this node, 100% is being pulled forward, 13.73 ducats. If we collected trade in Persia, we would suffer a 50% trade power penalty for collecting trade not in your capital node. So if we collect here, then we're going to end up with, I'd just say roughly 65 divided by 2, 32.5% control of this. So we should get 32% of 13.73. 4.46 ducats a month. So how do you evaluate if it's better to collect in Persia versus get the transfer bonus? Well, here's how I would do it. If we stopped collecting, if we started collecting in Persia or any other node and we gave up our trade bonus, let's just see what our trade power share in this node would become. To do that, we know we have currently 11 merchants, one of which is here. So we have 10 merchants giving 10% bonus equals 100% trade power bonus. So we would go from 112 to 100 down to just 12. So we take 585.8 is our current trade power in the node, divide it by 2.123 times 1.12. So our trade power in the node would go from 585.8 down to 309. 585.8 minus the 309 that we would still have means we'd be losing 276.8 in total trade power. Why is that relevant? Because the total node trade power would go down by the same amount. We need that to calculate the difference in relative ownership of the node. If there's currently 585.8 power total in the node, so nope, sorry, that's our current node. There's 693.1 total power in the node, and the total node goes down by 276.8 as well. The total node power is going to be at 416. So we are going to have that 309.04 out of 416.3 means that we're going to be at 74% control of the node after losing our transfer bonus. So we're going to lose about 10%. 84% goes down to 74%. So what does that transfer into? 74 divided by 84 as a percentage of the node means we're losing 12% roughly of the overall income we're currently getting. So 54.49 times this means that we'll be making about 48 ducats for a loss of 6.5 ducats in income if we collect from any node other than the current nodes that we have. So can we make 6 ducats by collecting in other nodes? If it's just Persia, I would say no, right? Because we were looking at Persia and we would only be getting roughly 32% of 14. 0.325 times 13.73 was only 4.4, and we need to make 6. But the great thing about collecting in a node outside of your capital node, if you do it, is that once you do it with one, you might as well do it in a whole bunch, because there's no penalty for collecting 8 times versus 1 time. It's just a binary, are you collecting outside of your capital node or not? So if we collect in Persia and in Gujarat and in Coromandel and in, anything that we can't steer towards Novgorod, I think overall we can make more than we're currently making. Sorry if that took forever to explain, but that's where we're at. So we're going to try it. So our snapshot was, I'm going to put this on the side, 55.5 ducats. We're going to collect with the guy who was in Siberia. And in Gujarat, Novgorod, Lahore, Gujarat, we have 15 ducats there. We definitely want to collect here. Let's grab the guy to collect who was in Malacca. And let's give that a few months while we fight some more rebels and stuff. Okay, some of this stuff's getting unoccupied. Can we get through the fort? We can. Just going to dispatch a troop for every single rebel province there. That is being sieged down again. These guys were going to fight this. You come out of here. Okay, train income goes down a little bit. I don't think that's because we're already getting the collecting trade penalty, are we? No, it's because we're not currently getting the penalty because the other merchants haven't arrived yet, but we lost 2 merchants who were transferring, so we lost 20% trade power multiplier in the node. Okay, let's again consolidate. We're going to leave behind a regular. Let's pull all these troops down to here. Actually, supply's kind of low. Let's split the army in half. Let's have half of it go down to there. And we'll have half of it go like north, and then it can come down to the province adjacent to it. Getting offered knowledge sharing from France. Why, I wonder? Oh, we're allied to France. I knew that. We have only 41 trust. That's kind of low. Let's keep the trust high. Well, thanks for offering us knowledge. I mean, yeah, it's great. Because we actually have positive income and we have no loans, he's offering us knowledge sharing of that thing. We do have it in our capital already. 1.49 per month. I mean, it's not a very big expense, really, and it's not going to last very long. We should have on institution. I wasn't aware that we were actually behind on an institution. I mean, I apologize. I haven't played this campaign for very long. You know, it's not in the memory bank. The old memory bank. Okay, rebels, we've got Dhaka may defect in 20 months. That is being taken care of. Suderbounds is being taken care of. As long as that one doesn't defect, we're fine. Okay, our merchants have probably arrived by now. We are collecting... we actually still retained even more relative power. I should have, like, expanded on the math there. We didn't go from 60-some% down to 30% because, again... Our relative power went down by 50% penalty, but the total power of the node also went down by the same percent, so it's not the same thing as just losing half. So we didn't end up making more overall. We're actually collecting 9.5654 just here. We're also collecting 9.6 here. So we're actually collecting 68.31, which is a solid 14 more ducats from trade above what we were collecting before. Now, ideally, if we can, I'd like to still force more and more of the money toward one node. And I do still feel like Novgorod's the right node to collect from. But, yeah. We have room for a lot more ships. We lack sailors. We should definitely try to get some... This is so dumb, I know, but we're going to build docks to try to increase our sailor count so that we can actually capitalize more and more on trade. Trade income at this stage of the game is just massive. Corruption, it's just ignore it. It's 10%. It's not a big deal. Like, just pretend like it's not there. Play without it. It's not a big deal. It'll go away eventually. Just keep playing. Just keep doing the things that you would do if you didn't have it. And, it's fine. Okay, rebels, we've still got you, 30 months. They may declare independence. The occupied provinces are Cananor. That's this one down here. That's why I've got the transports getting ready. Here, let's try to take care of this whole thing. So what we're going to do is just take nothing but infantry first with the best leader we can find. Actually, is there any chance we can just get military access through Vijayanagar? Absolutely not, of course. Why would he want to be a nice guy, right? Need that to get taken care of. Still feel like we're pretty overcommitted on this artillery, but we kind of need it for this right now. We have a better siege leader available. We have a 4 siege pip leader and a 4 siege pip leader. Let's get the 4 siege pip guy there, and let's pull the other guy off. Once we land, we'll be in defensive jungle. We just need to be quick. Because those rebels are not going to wait. But it is our own land, so it only takes like 12 days to land there. I don't have 9 more troops that aren't... So we'll take a couple artillery. We want someone with maneuver so that they can get off the boats just as quick as possible. That battle is probably not going to go super great. Let's see. You take an idea. Could wait for corruption to come down, but we're not actively trying to root it out, so I would just take it in this case. 10% penalties, only 40 points. Okay, we can reinforce on the 23rd, which is probably going to be too slow. So let's just go one more province over, and then we're going to retreat from this in 2 days. Trying to beachhead here and get enough troops with only 9 transports is tough. Could get some stability out of this, or some prestige, both of which are very good. Stability is probably better, so we can build up prosperity right now. And we have low horde unity. Horde unity? Yeah, we have very low horde unity. We have like none horde unity. But we also have no what's the word for it? Republican tradition, which makes stability costs really high. If we can just win this first fight and get one province unoccupied, we can start merking up more. Or, yeah, that works. Would have been better if we had more infantry. See? Cav are bad! That other army's probably going to come try to attack us now as well. We'll just reinforce on top. Independence for Koti is also a problem. 18 months to take care of these two. Oh, you know what? We actually have a province there we could hire from. Just make it a regular since we actually have some manpower. Let's have you go to here. Got Sat to go on back. We have rebels that are close to enforcing their demands. I'm aware, game. I'm working on it. It's not going to harm anything to wait for this other couple troops to get over here. Once these guys all get together, we'll take care of that 22 stack. These guys head somewhere over there. Discontent has expired in the Golden Horde. So if you have discontent, it's almost guaranteed that that's coming from one of your rivals. Random countries that have like espionage ideas don't waste their time just sowing discontent in your land. We've been rivaled by Ming and the Ottomans, so if you're getting problems, I do recommend that you just do counter-espionage on both of your rivals, or all three of the rivals. So Ottomans and Ming, hopefully they won't get another discontent off. They probably will. We're probably going to get slandered right away, and then we're probably also going to see the other thing. Merchant slandered and discontent sown are probably going to both be back right away. Actually, want to take, let's take 2 troops down to there. I want to take the leader. I'm going to send 2 troops because we're going to suffer attrition on the sea tile while we're trying to land, probably. Gain separatism? That's fine, whatever. See, discontent zone. So, had I been planning ahead for that, we would have already been counter-espionaging to keep his spy network down, and he wouldn't be able to do that. But it's fine. I don't think we're actually going to have issues with rebels, despite his discontent. We just need to take care of the Koti rebels, which we have 14 months to do. And that's going to be these guys. For the record, sir, I maybe don't. If you only have 9 transports, maybe don't conquer land like this. Maybe make sure you have the ability to walk around a little bit. Might be nice. But I'm sure in the situation that you were in, it made perfect sense at the time. All right. Got that at 0. We've got these guys in Kalahandi. So let's just go back to regular suppression now with this army without actually telling it to go anywhere. Just trying to find the provinces with some unrest. Kalahandi still has some. Okay, and then Lahore. That's in a subject. We can probably extend our suppression up into his land as well. Still afford to cover everything. Alright. Every single rebel that had any progress is gone, and all that's left are some that are, like, nearly no chance. We've got Maraki, which is over there, and it's also reachable. Let's just further extend a little tiny bit more. We've got Doti. And we've got Surmer. Rebels, be gone! Okay, as far as absolutism goes, we're already at the cap because we are not able to actually get very much. We've got 20% on those guys. Okay, next up is maybe one last quick reevaluation of trade. See if there's any other nodes where it makes sense to maybe collect. Since, again, we're collecting in 1, we might as well collect... Sorry, collecting in 2, might as well collect in 10, if it makes sense. Bengal. So let's think for a second. If instead of steering we were collecting, would we get more than what we're doing? In Bengal, we are personally moving 15.2 ducats that way. Once it gets here, 67% of it pulls that way. Some of it's kept. It's hard to tell. We have 25% control of Hormuz. Coromandel, we should definitely be collecting here. Yeah, I'm gonna try, let's just try collecting in Bengal. Again, collect in 2, collect in 10. In Crimea. I think we don't actually need a merchant in our capital. He's making us 10% of 38.9, so 4 ducats. We can make more than 4 ducats if we collected Coromandel, I think. So let's collect in the Coromandel charter with the guy that was in Novgorod. Trade income is at 78.48. Let's see where it ends up. It'll be lower probably at first until the merchant arrives. Oops, I did not mean to build that. I don't know where I just built it, but it was somewhere near the top of the list, so it couldn't be too bad. Okay, let's get some basic like upgrades going in. Workshops, some of the level 1 temples. I think it's probably a good idea to start saving up 1,000 ducats so that we can build the level 3 market town upgrade thing, the world market. Inland world markets give quite a bit of manpower, and also we still do make, even though we're making trade from a lot of sources, it's mostly coming from Novgorod. We still have to wait 1 more month. I think you arrived like 1 day late there. I'll ferry this army up to here. None rebels in our own country or in our subjects. We have positive stab. We are making net 65 ducats a month. The last thing I really want to work on is the army composition. But it's already been 20 minutes, and I don't think I can wrap it up in this episode. We already have a half-price guy. Let's just take the trade power for now. Collecting here is earning us 10.8 ducats, taking us to 89. Collect in 2, collect in 10. Let's just see if there's another one we can pull. I think possibly even in the Crimea node. That merchant, I think, could be better spent elsewhere. Most of the trade value is going that way anyway. So we are helping push the trade power like that, but there might be another node. In the Deccan node, that money is going into a node we're collecting in, so we don't actually have to collect there. It's basically any node where we might actually want to transfer trade from here to here. Any node where you can't get, yeah, so 32% versus 49%. We should actually steer here in that direction, I think. We earn 10.08 or we transfer 7.3, but that's still considering we had reduced trade power last month because of the, yeah, now we're transferring 11 instead of collecting. Would we rather collect 10? We put more here. 88.56, I can't tell. 88.56. Nation of Bengal has gone bankrupt. 88.56 becomes Traveling Minstrel, gain stab. Okay. It was 97. Yeah, we definitely better off collecting. So we're better off collecting there. We should also, I think we should collect Coromandel. Deccan's got 9 ducats. Collect in 2, collect in 10. I think we might want to just try it and switch every merchant to collecting. Since we're not getting a transfer bonus at all, it feels like because this is the situation we're in, we should pretty much just collect in every node that we can, which is really unusual, but now in this case, 100% of the trade power is going the way that we want it. We have 88% control here now. Even here, I think we're probably better off collecting because 88% is going to go down when we take the collecting and trade Collecting from trade, not in capital. Penalty, but we only have 78% control here. So as long as this number ends up still being more than 78, we'll probably end up making more. We need a king, lose Republican tradition, or the Republic is sacred. Republic is sacred. 88 becomes 80, which is still more than 78. So trade is at 99 income. Yep, it is better. Like I said, like 8 times so far this episode. Collect in 2, collect in 10. We might as well collect freaking everywhere. Transferring trade in Crimea? Nope. Kiev? Nope. Well, 43% control. Let's try it. 99.01 becomes 101. Collect in 2, collect in 10. Shall I say it more? Now that makes it even more important, actually, that we upgrade all of the estuaries if we're going to collect everywhere. Like in Persia and like anything else that can be assigned to the burghers. If I skipped over that, we can find more burgher land. We can spend money upgrading these estuaries. Let's see, where do we make the most money outside of the capital node? Coromandel, Doab, Bengal. So any of the estuaries that are unupgraded in Bengal, I want to upgrade, since it's the second highest income province, or like zone. And I would definitely start spending lots of money on the trade company buildings, because the way we're situated now, I do not think we're going to go bankrupt. I think that we're safe to do those buildings. Our truce with Corsica and yeah, all those people is over. That was one of our rivals, so... Okay, you know what? This is going to be a slightly longer episode. I'm just going to wrap it up. I have just a couple other things to say here about this army composition. The player who submitted the file had templates. Siege, 10-0-10, half 6-12-16, half infantry focus, 10-6-16. Now, he was a Horde earlier, so he had higher cavalry to infantry ratio and that 30% cavalry combat ability. Just because you have cavalry combat ability, that does not mean cavalry are always better than infantry. As you've clearly, I hope, seen by what I've been doing, I've not hired a single cav. If anything, I've disbanded most. I've hired merc infantry, and it's fine. A merc infantry is still cheaper than your cav. And they do enough damage to make it worthwhile. Like, not to mention they don't cost any manpower. My recommendation for your composition going forward, I'm just going to delete your templates and like build them for myself. This stage of the game, we have 50% improved flanking range. By default, what I would look at is combat width. I want a combat width sized army. So 34 combat width. I want 34 troops in the front row right now. 34 troops with 50% combat flanking. Flanking ability on the cavalry means that 6 cav can engage from the flanks. Most big battles with Ming or Ottomans or whoever, Castile, are going to be max combat width though. So when you have full combat width battles, you usually want to transition to pure infantry. Now, because you took aristocratic ideas, because you are Golden Horde and you've got 30% cavalry combat ability, it's probably still worthwhile to run cav. But I wouldn't just say, well, I can run 60%, so 60% of 34 equals whatever. No, I'm just going to say, let's do something like this. I would go start off by getting a 34 combat width, scale back 6 so that we can have perfect flanking on the cav, max out their flanking range, and then I would say, all right, well, considering that we've got some sort of an economy going right now, I'd probably try maybe bumping up to 10. I would try this. Give this a shot. Even though you have the cavalry mod, just trust me. Just try it and see how it works, and I think you'll be very pleased. It's far less expensive than what you're looking at otherwise, and its combat efficacy is very high, and you can swap out damaged regular infantry for mercenary infantry a whole lot easier than you can swap out damaged cavalry for mercenary cavalry. Like, you don't want to hire mercenary cavalry. So, now, I don't think you should commit so much to artillery. I would say, even at this stage of the game, despite having level 6 forts, I would have one primary combat stack. This is like your primary combat stack. At this stage of the game, artillery are still only doing 2.4 artillery fire value. When they're in the back row, they get half damage dealt. So that means they basically only do 1.2 multiplier versus 1.6 from the infantry. if you understood that correctly, that means that artillery still do less damage than infantry. So you're overcommitting to your artillery by far. I would have, you know, like maybe 20 tops at this point. Have 2 stacks of this composition that allow you to siege down 2 level 2 forts at max speed, and combine those 2 armies together to murder something with all of your artillery if you need to. But then, for the most part, don't run more artillery yet. Wait until you've got like a 4.4 or the very, very late game 6.4 multiplier to really commit to a huge artillery army. That all being said, you actually have an economy now where you could field, you know, how much would each artillery is 0.8 ducats a month? If you did everything that I just did and you were making a surplus of 94, in theory, you could run 117 regular artillery now and afford it without going broke. But I would err on trying to save like 30 to 40% of your gross income in surplus. So when I say that, I'm saying 229.05 times 0.4, 91.6 ducats. I'm slightly over 40% surplus. 30% would be 229.05 times 0.3 is 68. So, like, you know, if you're making 230 ducats, try to make 30%. Always run a surplus so that you can invest, because you want your economy to grow. You know, it's like those tower defense games where if you don't put money in the bank to start earning interest, you get overrun in the 18th level, you know? Like, you got to put a little bit of money in the bank in level 1 so you can earn interest over levels 1 through 18, and then by the time you get to level 18, you've got that scalar on your wealth. You got to reinvest. You've got to be building marketplaces, doing these upgrades, building the other things. And then from here, I'd just be looking at, you know, just playing it out. Whittle the corruption down slowly over time. Again, notice how we've got 10 corruption and everything's fine. The country's not on fire or anything. It's totally fine. I would do this. Rather than like finding something else to spend money on, I'd probably maybe start rooting out corruption a little bit harder. And then if I'm doing my composition, that's the primary stack. I would just take the armies and you know, actually let's just take, again, this is a very long episode now, but let's take the time to change your army composition as well. So using the template thing, so 24 infantry, 10 cavalry. We currently have 17 cav, so we have a huge force limit. Oh, here's what I wanted to do. I shouldn't have deleted all your stacks. I wanted to see the price. My army costs 20.43 ducats a month. See in the tooltip? 20.43 ducats a month to maintain. A stupendously cavalry-focused army, like you were thinking, which you had, like, I think it was like a 612 or 618 or something. Let's just say you tried to do 60% cavalry ratio out of 34 combat width. 34 times 0.6, it's about 20. So if you had 20 cav out of 34, that's 58% cavalry ratio. Let's build a template and use 20 cav. Fill in the difference with infantry. And then you were running artillery equal to front line already. 43 ducats a month. It's twice the price, and it's definitely not twice as effective in combat ability. It's also too large for your average supply. It's 68 regiments total size, where the template that I've built is only 44. If you look at average supply in the area, 44 is still a little high, but it's enough that you're not going to be killing yourself with attrition. And just humor me. Try that template. I think you'll be pleased. So, that all being said, I think we're going to wrap this one up here. That's what I would do. And then let's take a look at the before and after snapshot one last final time. And that's going to do it for this assay. Negative 64 ducats a month. Granted, I've got a backlog of corruption to work off, but we can take care of that over time. Now we're up to 229 ducats versus 90. So you were, just based on what I've done, and again, there's still more to be done. We could do dev push the gold mines. We can still lower autonomy. You still have no prosperity. You were missing out on, like, you could be making 2.5 times as much money easily with your current country. Of course, I'm also a republic now, which might be a big counter argument to everything that I've said. But I think it's a huge argument for not being a horde anymore. All right, so like prosperity-wise, devastation is still something that you've got to work on. But with economy, build forts everywhere that's got devastation, get the devastation down, take the age bonus, Edict of Absolutism, get the devastation gone, build up your prosperity. You'll be golden. Cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this series, this episode. I'll see you guys in the next episode or the next assay. See you soon.